welcome to Young Minds Yoga. I hope you're well today. The session that we're going to do today is about an hour long, and then we'll have a few minutes relaxation at the end. This session is for all levels and all abilities, so don't think that you can't do it. It's open to beginners and intermediates, okay? So hopefully there's something there that everybody can do. Now, the session is called Shedding the Day's Stress. That's what I've called it. It's called Shedding the Day's Stress. And it's really good for restoring energy, particularly if you're feeling a little fatigued as it's coming to the end of the week, and if you've had a busy or hectic week. So it's about restoring and balancing, harmonizing and harnessing the energy that you have and will have hopefully for the rest of the week. I know the weather doesn't help as well, so it is also a very good practice for if you're feeling cold, if you've not had a chance to go out today and you haven't stretched or sort of just had the chance to walk out in the fresh air. It will also be great for the thoracic region. So really good for inviting the breath in and restoring energy in the lungs, okay? Now all you'll need today is your sweet self, some loose fitting clothing, so layers in case you get cold, and a couple of mats, okay? Now, it's absolutely fine if you don't have a yoga mat. A yoga mat is great because it's usually non-slip, so it's very safe. But if you've got flooring or carpet, you can always lay out a towel. Enough room to sort of stretch your arms like this and take the legs fairly wide, and that's all the space you'll need. Make sure you've got a drink to hand, so stay hydrated, and you're in a quiet spot of the house or flat that you're in where you won't be disturbed. So welcome. We're going to start in the first pose, which is Balasana. That means pose of the child. And it's a really nice pose, but we're going to vary it a little bit. And the only thing you will need as a prop today is either a cushion or a yoga block. So I'm just going to go and grab my yoga block now. So yoga blocks are brilliant, okay, because you can use them for Pilates and other forms of exercise as well. Now this is a standard plastic pink yoga block. It's not very malleable, shall we say. It's quite hard, but they can be picked up from on the web for about £2 or £3, so they're worth having. Or you can get a recycled, very green yoga block, which is made out of recycled rubber, and they are much more spongy and much softer. Now today, if you don't have either one, a block or a spongy sort of block, then please don't worry, because you can use a sofa pillow cushion, okay? Just one off the sofa. Or if you're in your bedroom, just grab a pillow. Okay, so yoga block is great, but a pillow or a cushion is just as good. So what we're going to do is sit on that now, whether it's your yoga block or cushion, and I want you to sit cross-legged. This is the first pose, and this, as I say, is known as adept's pose, okay? So if you can, sit comfortably with your legs crossed, and it's probably the sort of pose we may have done as children, sat like this, but a lot of people do prefer now to sit like this, and it's incredibly good for opening up our hips and our knee joints. I'm going to take my arms forwards and stretch them out on the floor ahead of me. Now, as soon as we do that, we're probably desperate to get down, but don't rush it, okay? Because your knee joints and your hip joints may not be that warm yet, so we're going to take it slowly. And we're going to hold this for between 1 and 2 minutes. So let's just start very gently to take the hands forwards as far as you can until your arms are straight, and then relax the head, gaze towards your mat, and simply hold that for about 8 slow breaths, okay? So just come down as far as you can without straining, and start to breathe into your spine, breathe into your lower back. Take some nice deep breaths here. Now, you may find as if you're sort of coming off your cushion, so keep pushing your sitting bones, that's your bottom, down into the block or cushion that you're sitting on. Keep anchoring them down. And just aim to relax into this as best you can. Let's take 5 more deep breaths, yogis. Okay, yogis, start to walk your hands very slowly back so you're coming up to sitting and relax there. Well done. I'm going to do that again because we need to cross the legs over the opposite way to open up the opposite hip. So from there, if you can, uncross your legs and cross the ankles over the opposite way now. And let's go. So we're going to fold forwards. Now remember, yogis, it doesn't matter how far you fold forwards, just as long as you keep your bottom anchored down into your block or your cushion. And the reason we sit on a block is because it gives us just a little more comfort, it leverages us, it allows the spine to be a little taller, and it tilts our pelvis forwards, which is great when we're coming down like this. So you crossed your ankles over the opposite way, and just take the arms forwards lightly if you can. Extend what we call our sternum, this part of the chest forwards. Pull your shoulder blades down your back. Gaze towards the floor and hold for another 5 deep breaths if you can. Slowly start to walk your hands back. Remember, it doesn't matter how far you come down, the stretch is so great for our spine, our hip and our knee joints. It really opens them up. But that may be enough for you now, so very carefully, and well done by the way, it's not an easy pose. Just let your legs go, stretch them out, and just zigzag or give them a little shake. Relax them, well done. Now there's 2 more poses that we're going to do seated. So we're going to sit cross-legged on our cushion again. So go back to the way you crossed your legs firstly. So whether it's right leg or left leg, just go back to how you had them at the beginning, and we'll sit in what we call easy pose. And we're now going to integrate the arms. So this is about shedding some of the stress that you hold in your neck, your chest, your shoulders. If you've been on your computer all week and you've done a lot of desk work, this area around here may be really tight and stubborn. So let's untie some knots from there. Okay, so this is known as cross-legged easy pose with eagle arms. And we're going to take the arms out to shoulder height, sitting tall, and I want you to cross your right elbow over your left, okay? So just gently cross your right elbow over your left, and then bend the elbows and bring the palms, if you can, together. Now, I appreciate not everybody can bring their palms together, so if you can't, please don't worry. Do just continue to make 2 loose fists like this and raise the elbows a little bit so that you're looking towards your inner elbow. So if you can't bring the palms together, then make 2 loose fists instead and raise the elbows up towards your nose, as I'm showing you now. And from the side, so you get an idea of what this looks like, right over left, either palms together, raising, or make 2 loose fists, which is a nice, gentler alternative. And as I look forwards, I'm breathing into my shoulder blades. I can feel that in between the shoulder blades, what we call in yoga, those hard to reach areas. So either close the eyes, remember this is the gentler version, 2 fists, or palms together, and breathe. Take 3 slow breaths. Breathe into those tight spots wherever they may be, in between your shoulder blades, perhaps in your back, perhaps in the neck. If there's lots of discomfort, then do please release. Otherwise, take another deep breath in and out here. Slowly unfurl the arms. Relax the hands and just roll your shoulder blades back and then forwards. Well done. We're going to do the opposite side now. So I'm just going to turn. You can stay exactly where you are, but so you can get an idea of that again, Cross your ankles over the opposite way now. So switching legs, crossing your ankles over the opposite way, sitting tall on your cushion or block, arms out to the side, and now cross your left elbow over your right. It's the opposite elbow. So just gently crossing left elbow over right, bend the elbows, and bring either the palms together if you can, but don't force. If you can't do that, yogis, remember to make 2 loose fists and raise those elbows as high as you comfortably can. And that's just as good, but it's gentler on your shoulders and arms. If the palms are together, raise them up. Again, focus on the stretch in between your shoulder blades, and we'll hold for 5 breaths. Breathing in deeply, breathing out fully. Again, if this is too strong, simply go back to 2 loose fists. Aim to keep your spine as tall as you can, so sit tall, yogis. It's a strong, strong stretch in the shoulder blades. Hold and breathe for 2 more deep breaths if you can. And then release. Roll the shoulders back and forwards and shake it out. Well done. Lovely. Okay. Well, stretch your legs out. Well done. Relax and give them a little wriggle, and we'll do 1 more seated pose. So this is releasing tension again, finding a little bit of stillness at the end of your hectic day or your hectic week, okay? And the breath work helps to revive our spirit as well. Okay, so this is child's pose. And what we're going to do is kneel and push our buttocks back towards our heels. Our knees are together. And this time use your cushion or your block if you have one. And place it in front, because what I want you to do is aim to stretch your arms out in front of you. So another back stretch and arm and neck. But rest your head on something soft, i.e. a cushion or pillow, okay? So here we go. We're going to breathe in. Down we come. You can separate your knees a little if that's more comfortable. Rest your forehead on your cushion and gently stretch your arms out as far as you can, okay? And we're going to hold this for 5 very slow breaths, so take your time, okay? If you have your arms straight and you don't like that, if it's too strong on your arms, then just soften and bend the elbows a little bit, and that will take the pressure off the shoulders and it won't feel such a strong stretch in your arms, okay? But ideally, arms are straight, forehead down, and let's just breathe into our back here. Hold for 5 slow breaths, there's no rush. Aim to take 2 more deep breaths here if you can. Breathe in deeply. And then come up slowly, slowly. And just relax here. Roll the shoulders back. Give yourself a moment just to come out of the pose. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And relax. And that's the floor work for now. So again, you may want to just stretch your legs out, yogis. That's it. Give them a little shake. And what we're going to do now is work into our spine, okay? So we're going to do a pose that you may know, or may know the name of at least, and that's called the cat-cow pose. And it's a lovely way of softening and easing out the kinks in our spine. I'm going to come on to all fours, okay? Just take a moment to make sure your knees and feet are hip width apart. Have your hands forwards and have your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. So it sort of looks like a tabletop. Spread the weight across your hands and make sure you feel comfortable, because you can always move your hands forwards if you need to. Okay, and we're going to very gently just repeat this about 6 rounds. We're going to exhale, and as we arch the spine, we tuck our chin in towards our throat, looking towards our knees. As we inhale, we want to keep the elbows and arms straight and just look forwards, lifting your sternum and chest a little, gazing ahead. And then as I exhale again, I round my spine and drop my head, look towards my knees and thighs. Inhale, lifting my sternum, extending my spine forwards and drawing my head just up a little bit. And then I exhale again, round the spine. Inhale, look forwards. Keep those arms straight. Let's try 3 more slowly. This is a great way for warming and energizing your spine. Restoring energy. Your intention is to breathe. Just breathe and move at the pace that very much suits you. We're stretching our back today and our hamstrings. And we're also opening the hips. Okay, yogis, 1 more. Let's do 1 more together. Inhale, looking forwards. And exhale, arch the spine. And then sit back and just shake it out, because you may feel that on the wrists quite a bit. Just shake them out. Make 2 loose fists and just unfurl the wrist. Just make some little loose circles just to untie the knots, particularly if your wrists felt heavy there. A lot of loading there. Brilliant, well done. And we're going to move into the next pose, which is known as side plank, okay? And again, this is going to now take us to the sides of the body and give them a welcome stretch. Remember, all these poses are great for restoring energy. Do as much or as little as you can. Okay, so I'm going to extend my left leg out on the floor and with the left foot facing forwards. So I'm actually kneeling on my right knee. Okay. And then I want you to take your right hand to the floor and make a tripod. If you need a block to support you, you can hold on to a block. We're going to raise the opposite hand, that's the left hand, and very gently bring it across so that the left hand, we're looking up towards the palm. And we're going to hold this for 3 deep breaths. Feel that stretch across the left side and see if it's possible to hold for 3 deep breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Now, if you don't like looking up, why not look forwards? It's absolutely fine to gaze ahead and gives your neck a gentle, relaxing stretch. It's not quite as strong as looking up. Again, breathe into the left side as you stretch it. Take 1 more deep breath in and exhale to release. Good. Now come up, stay exactly where you are, and we're going to go into another stretch called the gateway. So leave your left leg where it is, rest your left hand on your left thigh, and now raise your right arm and bring it across to the left. So we're again stretching to the left, but we're using the right side, and this is known as the gate pose, sort of mimicking the shape of a gate. And let's hold for 3 deep breaths. Again, take care. This is a deep stretch for these muscles here in between your ribs, known as the intercostal muscles, but it can create a sense of spaciousness there. And this is excellent work for strengthening the core. You're working your hips because they're open, your quadricep muscles and your thighs, and also getting this stretch in the side ribs. 1 more deep breath in, and then use that exhalation to release. Well done. And then we're going to switch sides. So let's come to kneeling. Now we're going to stretch the right leg out, toes of the right foot facing forwards. Again, take a moment, don't rush. And this time we're going to stretch to the other side. So take the left hand down, right arm comes over, and again 3 deep breaths. How did you get on?
I got my place.
Fantastic. Well done.
You can tell them if you want.
Nice deep breathing. Hold for 3 deep breaths if you can. Now as you stretch on this side, I'm running out of space here, yogis, do just notice whether one side feels easier to stretch to. Keep the toes of the right foot facing forwards and anchor down the sides of your right foot and the right heel for stability. That's it. Let's take another deep breath in. Exhale to release. And then just come up to sort of a semi upright position and slide your right hand down your right thigh. And now we're going to lengthen up through the left side. We're going to breathe in and gently take that left arm over to the right in the gate pose again. Keep looking forwards if you can and aim to hold for 3 more deep breaths. But notice in your own body, does one side feel easier? Is one side tighter? Is one side slightly looser? Again, all I want you to do is observe. Don't judge it, but just observe those differences in your own body as you breathe. Good. One more deep breath in. And a deep breath out. That's it. Get that lovely stretch. And then when you're ready, let's inhale together and release and exhale. Well done. Now come in and sit back again just for a moment. That's it. Roll the shoulders back. Give yourself time to breathe and relax. And just notice if the sides, these side ribs, or this area just feels a little looser or a little bit more space in there. And we're going to now go into a pose that most of you will know the name of, if not have tried it, and that's downward facing dog. And it's known in yoga as an inversion because our head is slightly lower than our heart. Now that's great, but if anybody feels dizzy, then I want you just to come back down onto the floor, relax, and take a few deep breaths. Very rarely do people feel dizzy, but it's just worth noting in case you do. Okay, so let's have a go at downward dog. And what this does, it stretches the entire back surface of our body. So we're stretching our spine, we're stretching our hamstrings, and we're stretching our arms to a really strong degree. We'll hold it for between 3 and 5 deep breaths. But really, at any point you need to come down and rest, please do so. Your yoga shouldn't hurt you, and very much we're not here to hurt ourselves. So just do as much or as little as you can. Okay, so I'm going to show you this pose and we'll get into it together and then we'll do a few deep breaths. So can you see I've tucked my toes under, I come back into that tabletop position and just making sure that my wrists are underneath my shoulders, my knees underneath my hips. I'm going to take a deep breath in and I'm just going to slightly push my bottom back, tucking the toes under so that I can spread the fingers wide. I want to distribute the weight evenly across my fingers, but also load the weight into my wrists and my palms. Our arms are really going to be strong here. Then as I inhale, I raise my hips, bring my feet in, keep my knees and feet hip width apart though, arms are strong, and gaze towards my upper thighs. Now we're going to walk the dog together. If your knees are bent, just keep the knees apart, it's absolutely fine. I'm going to pad one heel back as I breathe in and pad the other down as I breathe out. And take 5 deep breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Now keep those arms strong, yogis. Distribute the weight evenly across the hands. Load the palms with the weight and keep the arms strong. And don't worry if your heels aren't coming down. With practice and perseverance, this gets easier. Let's walk the dog for 3 more breaths. Gaze up towards your knees or thighs and relax your head and neck as much as you can. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Okay, yogis, one more deep breath here. Deep breath out. And then slowly, slowly, we're going to come back down onto all fours and sit back. Now, you may have held it for less, you may have held it for longer. The main aim is only to hold that pose for as long as you comfortably can. And it's about building it up slowly. So in a minute, we're going into another pose, but then we'll go back into downward dog because it's really good to just sort of do it in bite-sized chunks. Have a little go, come down and rest. Have another little go, come down and rest. And you're building the stamina and the strength. So don't worry if it felt really strong and you only managed 1 or 2 breaths, because we'll go back into it, and that's the best way to do it, in bite-sized chunks, okay? It is a strong pose, so nicely done. Well done for trying. Okay, so the next pose we're going to go into is really good for our hips. Now, if like me, you had to do a lot of sitting and a lot of work at a desk this week and over the last few months, then our hips tend to get very tight and stubborn and stiff. So then when we start walking, we might click in the hip, or just they may feel tight. And also if you're not getting out much because the weather's not great. So this is, again, a nice hip opener. So all we need to do is come back onto all fours and just start to slide slowly your right leg back. Tuck your toes under of the right foot and very gently make sure that your torso is just gently resting over or towards the left thigh. And we're going to fold over our left thigh. Can you see I've got my toes tucked under the right leg, folding over my leg. Now, if you can't bring your forehead down, and not everybody can, bring it a bit closer so you can see, then I want you to make one fist on top of the other and rest your forehead there. So what I've done is I've tucked the toes under of the right foot, extending it on the floor, and folding over my left thigh with my torso, and either bringing the hands stretch forwards, forehead down. If you can't do that, then make 2 loose fists on top of each other and rest your forehead like this. And that's a nice alternative. So we're opening up here into this right hip. Try and keep your hips squared and hold for 5 breaths. If you prefer to stretch your arms out, that's brilliant. Just keep those hips level if you can. Forehead down, arms stretched, keeping the hips as level as you can. Okay, yogis, let's walk the hands back slowly, a hand at either side of the knee, and just raise up and look forwards for a moment, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and come back onto all fours carefully. And we'll switch sides, and again, so you can see this, I'll show you on the other side. So now I'm going to slide my left leg all the way back. You see I've tucked the toes under. I'm sort of running out of space here. It's my fault, not yours, being too long. And then again, we're going to fold over the right thigh, keeping our hips level if we can. We can always use a block for underneath the forehead. Maybe that suits you today. Stretch the arms forwards, keep those hips level. And let's hold for, again, 3 or 4 deep breaths. And just notice if one hip feels easier than the other. Very often it can. Take some deep breaths into your hips, yogis. When you're ready, start to walk your hands back, rise up slowly, and take a moment to look forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, that little lift in the chest. But that may be enough now, so let's slide both legs together, and just again, sit back for a moment, relax the shoulders. Well done. That is such a strong pose, and it nicely opens our hips, doesn't it? Okay, And it's one to try again at home. You can have lots of pillows, cushions underneath the hips if that feels easier, okay? Right, yogis, let's see how we're doing for time. Brilliant, it's about 20 to 5. So I said we were going back into downward facing dog now. Again, you can just do it for a few deep breaths, come down when you need to, okay? But again, it's great just to practice and go into this and just try, okay? So here we go. Come back onto all fours when you're ready. Tuck your toes under and just remember to keep your knees and feet hip width apart, okay? How long you stay, remember, is up to you. 1 breath, 3 breaths, or even up to 5 if you wish to. The main thing is not to strain, and do come down and relax when you need to. Okay, so here we go. We're going to raise our hips, keep the arms strong, feet and knees remaining hip width apart. And it doesn't matter whether you're like this, yogis, with your knees bent. Just focus on raising the hips as high as you can. Relax the head and gaze towards your upper thighs. And let's hold for 3 more deep breaths. Breathing deeply here. Relax the head and neck. Good. 1 more deep breath in. And use that exhalation slowly to come back down onto all fours. And simply relax. And again, shake it out. Well done for trying a few breaths. If you prefer to skip that, it's fine. Remember, this is your practice. Just make a few little rotations again with the wrists in both directions and shake it out, particularly if you found that loading on your wrists again. Okay, we're going to go into now a nice lunge position. It's going to work our thighs, our hips, and we're going to create a little back bend as well, so it's a lovely, delicious stretch for our chest and our spine. So yogis, a low lunge. Now, if you want to pad up underneath your knees, you can. Always grab a blanket, but if you've got a cushion, you can have that underneath one knee. And we're going to take our right foot forwards and stay kneeling on our left knee. And what we're going to make sure is as we bend this front knee, that it doesn't come over the toes. Ideally, your knee, your right knee, is in the same alignment as your right ankle, and that way you're not overloading. Now, just remember that the back foot is resting on the floor, and just take your hands to your hips to steady you. Roll the shoulders back and look forwards. Take a breath in there, and that's the start of the lunge. And actually, it does mean we have to focus, find a little stillness. And then we're going to add the arms to the stretch. So when you're ready, take a deep breath, raise the arms on the inhale, bring the palms together ahead of you, or if you can't bring them here, then have them simply apart, and look up toward them if you can, to really just create. So I brought my arms forwards, but if that's too strong, keep them by your ears. If you prefer, you can look forwards or gently look up towards the ceiling, okay? So the choice is yours, either palms together or apart, looking up or looking forwards. Either way, I want you to hold and breathe for 3 breaths. And as you lift the sternum, you create this back bend, stretching the spine, working, of course, your thigh muscle, your hips. 1 more deep breath in. And then exhale, release the hands first of all. Come back and switch sides, and I'll show you that from the other side. So this time it's my left leg that goes forwards. I'm kneeling on my right knee now. Again, just roll the shoulders back and gaze ahead. Find a little stillness in the pose before we add the arms. Let's breathe in, breathe out. And just notice whether one thigh, one hip feels easier in the pose. Inhale when you're ready, add the arms. Remember they can touch or remain apart. You can look forwards or gently look up to increase the stretch in your spine and also in the chest. Hold for 3 deep breaths. And when you're ready, take another deep breath in and exhale to release and come back onto all fours or just sit back for a moment. Well done. So that's a great stretch for here, for your hips and also your spine. We're now going to go back into child's pose, but we're going to change it a little bit. So grab a cushion. You'll need a cushion to rest your forehead on or a block. And we're going to take the knees wide as you need to. And this again stretches the sides of the body as well as the back. And I'd like you to take your cushion over to your right. Okay, rest it on the floor by your right knee. And what we're going to do is stretch the arms over the right thigh. So we turn a little bit, face the right thigh, and our torso and chest fold over that thigh. Arms come forwards, and we rest our forehead down. So though we're stretching to the right, it's the left flank, it's the left thigh, buttock, hip, and all the left side of our chest and here into the ribs again that receive the stretch, okay? So let's breathe in, raise the arms facing the right thigh. Exhale as we fold over. Rest your forehead there. And let's take 5 deep breaths here. Make sure your forehead is resting. And as best you can, breathing and stretching into the left side of your body. Folding over the right thigh. Pushing your bottom back towards your heels as best you can. Now walk your hands slowly up. Well done. Could you feel the stretch on the opposite side? Now we're going to repeat that on the left side. So take your cushion over to your left thigh and turn your hips gently to that area to the left, so that although we're twisting to our left and stretching the left, it will be the right side of the body that receives the stretch. Here we go. Let's lengthen the arms up. Exhale, make sure you've got your cushion there so your forehead definitely is resting. Arms extending along the floor. And again, breathing into this side, the right side of your body. Aim for 5 slow breaths, yogis. 5 deep breaths in your own time. And do notice those physical differences in the right and the left side of your body. Do they feel different in the stretch? Well done. Start to walk your hands back and just come up to sitting when you can. Well done. That was a deep stretch. And what often happens is we don't feel the benefits right now, but we feel the benefits afterwards. So often we can think, oh, I feel more space here. Or you can often feel you've worked your core. Or there's just that sense of feeling that you can breathe deeper into your body. Okay, well done. Let's take our cushion away. We're going to stretch the legs out. And of course we can sit on the cushion now. Stretch your legs out, give them a shake, and come to sitting, yogis. Sitting on your block or cushion, I would recommend. And we're going to go into a stretch for each side again. I want you to bend your right knee and bring the sole of the right foot, just if you can, up towards your inner left thigh. Now, please don't worry if you don't bring it that far. So as long as it's not pushing into the left knee, just take that sole of the right foot as high as you comfortably can. Now that leaves, of course, your left knee open. So by all means, grab a couple of cushions or a pillow and have that underneath your right knee for comfort and for support. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold over the left leg, okay? So my left leg is extended on the floor, my right knee is padded up, supported, and we're going to inhale, raise the arms, exhale and lengthen over that left leg. Can you see? We're running out of space again. I'll move back a little. So there we are, folding over my left leg. Now I'm holding on to the toes, but you don't have to. I want you to hold on to the left leg wherever you comfortably can. It may be just below the knee, it may be the shin or toward the ankle. Please don't strain, just go as far as you can. Just soften the elbows a little bit. You don't have to have the arms really straight unless you want a very deep stretch. Otherwise, just soften the elbows a little bit. It releases tension here. And we're going to hold for 5 deep breaths. What this does, it opens your hip and knee on the opposite side, and it works your hamstrings of the straight leg, also stretching your back. And it's said to be a very calming and quietening pose. So it's great, again, if you've had a busy week. So let's relax here. Gaze down towards the leg, keep the back of the neck long, and breathe. And every time you exhale, you can lengthen forwards from the crown of your head, yogis. Imagine the crown of the head wanting to come towards that foot as you lengthen forwards, and breathe deep. Relax your shoulders away from your ears and enjoy the fact that you're really lengthening the body. But again, don't force yourself. Straining is not an option. Relax into it, but don't force the movement. Let's hold for another deep breath in and out. Inhale when you're ready. Raise your arms. Exhale and release. Well done. Now just take the hand underneath the bent knee, draw it in gently, and carefully stretch it back out. Well done. Give the legs a little shake, and we'll switch sides. So I would recommend taking cushions, pillows to the opposite side as you bend your left knee, and rest the left knee on plenty of support. Bring the sole of the left foot as high as you comfortably can, resting on your inner right thigh. Just make sure it's not pushing into your right knee. Okay, so I've lengthened the right leg. The toes of the right foot are flexed towards me. And I'm going to inhale and lengthen upwards. Exhale, fold down. Now again, just take care of the knee. And hold on to that front right leg wherever you can. The shin, toward the ankle or foot. Remember, it's not about straining. Soften the elbows a little bit, relax the shoulders, and enjoy 6 deep breaths here. Remind yourself that every time you exhale, you want to come forwards, lengthening from here, the crown of the head if you can. And do notice, yogis, in your own body, whether one side feels easier to stretch into, whether you can move further forwards, or are you restricted in some way on this side. Just notice those left and right differences as you breathe into this stretch, and make sure you're not straining. Okay, yogis, let's inhale together and raise those arms. Exhale, release. Take your hand underneath the bent left knee. Carefully draw it into your chest before straightening. And again, sit back and just shake it out. Well done, that was a deep stretch. Okay, now we're coming to the end of the practice almost, but it wouldn't be a practice without A, a relaxation, and B, a nice little spinal twist. It doesn't have to happen, but it's a great way for wringing out the tension we may still be holding in the spine. So I'd say stay on your cushion, and I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see this. Have the legs extended. Just sit back for a moment and take a deep breath in and out. Just notice physically how you feel at the moment. Notice if you feel a little warmer and looser, or if your mind is quieter. And often it's good just to take a pause in between poses and just take stock of how you feel. Hopefully a little warmer and more relaxed. Okay, so I'm going to bend my right knee, and what I'm going to do is extend the left leg, keep the right knee close to my buttock, and just take this left hand forwards, stretch it forwards. It's going to be the wraparound arm, and wrap it around the outside of that right knee. And then take your right arm behind you, draw it close to your spine, and aim to keep the spine tall. And very gently start to twist and look over that right shoulder as much as you comfortably can. Now, what's key here is to keep the spine tall. And remember, yogis, that twists come first from the belly, then we twist from the chest, and finally the neck. Don't forget the toes of the left foot, flex them towards you. Keep that leg and foot switched on. And twist comfortably as far as you can, so you're looking somewhere over your right shoulder. Let's enjoy 4 breaths together here. Okay, yogis, when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Exhale, come back to the center, and just release and relax that leg. Well done. We're going to switch sides, so I'm going to show you this on the other side. Okay. So sitting on a block or cushion again is ideal. It helps to keep the spine tall and tilt the pelvis. We're going to bend that left knee now, bring the heel close to the buttock. Right leg, again, switched on, toes towards you. And just take your left arm forwards now. Just lengthen it forwards a little. It's going to wrap around the outside of that left knee to stop it bowing outside, so it's protecting it. And that left hand behind, draw it close to the spine. We want it to keep the spine tall. Lengthen and start to turn, gently looking over your left shoulder as far as you can without straining. Let's hold this for 4 deep breaths. And again, just notice if one side feels physically easier in the twist than the other. So all I want you to do is notice those left and right differences. And often in a twist, we're aware of that. But again, don't judge it, just be aware of it. And then we'll take a deep breath in together. And we'll use that exhale to return the body, the spine back to the center, and carefully release the leg. Just sit back a moment with straight arms and shake the legs out. And notice again if the spine feels a little looser. Often it can. Brilliant. Okay, yogis. Well, we're nearly coming to the end, but there's one pose that really does help. And I'm just checking the time. Brilliant. It's not even 5 yet. So we've got time for our last 2 poses. And again, we're going to use a cushion to sit on, and this stretches the whole of the back of the body again. But what's great about this pose is it's known to quell a busy mind, so it's calming and it's soothing, okay? So it's often one I like to do last thing in the day or even in the evening. So let's sit on the yoga mat. Let's sit on a cushion. Make sure you do sit on a cushion. I would advise it. Again, it just gives us that little lift, particularly in this pose. Legs are extended. Flex the toes towards you. And when you're ready, raise the arms, looking forward, sitting tall. And use the exhalation just to hinge forwards from your hips. Come as far forward as you can. Now, if you can bring the hands carefully, and it's not a strain to the feet, have a go. If that's too far, rest them on the shin or towards the ankle. And we're going to hold this pose for 10 slow breaths. We've got the time. So as I fold forwards, notice I've got my elbows soft. If I wanted to, I could straighten them, but that's quite strong on my shoulders. So this feels nice. Flex the toes towards you. I want you to imagine pushing the backs of the knees down and having the front of the knees pointing upwards towards the ceiling. So we keep the legs switched on. As we exhale, we fold forwards, again, with the intention of our crown of our head here, where the hair starts to grow, the crown of the head, this area, coming towards the feet. Elbows are soft, relax your shoulders if you can, away from your ears, and gaze down towards your knees. Close the eyes if you wish to. And let's enjoy another 7 or 6 slow breaths if you can. This is where we can switch on that deep breath work.
Yeah, I got a place.
Did you?
Yeah, very nice lady. I mean, I don't really want to go there, but yeah.
What?
It's
One more deep breath in and out, yogis, if you can.
What did you have?
Inhale when you're ready. Slowly raise the arms and use that exhalation to take the arms carefully behind you again. And then enjoy just sitting back into straight arms, gazing ahead and letting the whole body have a moment to relax. Breathe in. Notice if you feel just a little quieter in your mind and certainly more stretched in your lower body and of course the back body, and then relax. Okay, yogis, with one more pose to do together and then we'll have a few minutes in relaxation. So we come off the cushion and we're just simply going to go into what we know as the bridge pose. Now, you can use a block, but for today's purposes, we'll keep it simple. This is a pose that, again, gives us energy. Even though it's the end of the practice, it allows us to just feel as if we've restored some of the energy that we've lost. So we're not going to feel really awake, like as if we'd had coffee or a sweet sugary drink or anything like that. It's going to give us a different sort of energy, but still relax us. That's the lovely thing. And it's a really nice pose that I want to share with you to finish with. So here we go. We come onto our backs. That feels nice, doesn't it? Simply because we've been all that time, we've been sitting, and now we get the chance to just relax the back. So just come onto your back, have your feet and knees hip width apart, and just take a breath into your spine. Our chin is tucked in, palms are down, and very carefully bring the heels as close as you can to your buttocks, feet and knees hip width apart. And just take a moment to press the hands, backs of the palms into the floor, arms are by your sides. Breathe in and breathe out. Lovely. Now as we inhale, we're going to make sure the chin is tucked in. That makes the back of the neck nice and long. And press the hands into the floor. And let's start to raise our hips really slowly. Can you see I've lifted my bottom off the floor? Keep the knees in place, don't let them bow out. And start to lift your hips as high as you can. Keep your head and neck where they are. Don't move the head and neck. Press the backs of the arms and hands into the floor to lever you up. And just come up slowly to as far as you can comfortably. And then we make this beautiful bridge shape. And you can either close your eyes or gaze softly towards the ceiling. Hold for up to 3 or even 5 deep breaths if you wish to. Press the feet into the floor. Press the hands down and just rise up as far as you can without straining. That's it, lovely deep breath. When you're ready, let's start to slowly release the hips down as if we were coming down vertebra by vertebra, peeling your spine slowly back on the mat. That's it. Don't rush. Fantastic. When you get there, take a breath. Now, we're going to hug the knees into the chest, and we're just going to make some little circles with our hands on our knees. And that's a lovely massage for the spine. After all that hard work, let's give the spine a nice little hug here. That's it. And then some small circles in the opposite direction, just to soften the tailbone, the pointy end part of the spine. Good. Little massage there. Okay, yogis, and then gently rock from side to side, just again to soften your spine. That's it. Take a deep breath in and out here. And we've come to the end of our practice now. So let's lie down just for a few minutes in what we call Shavasana. We're going to extend the legs on the floor. So by all means, if you need to, now's the time to put your socks on or even grab a blanket. Make sure you're warm and comfortable as we go into relaxation. We're going to fold the feet out or just let them flop. Lift your head and just make sure your body's in a relatively straight line, yogis. When you're happy with that, tuck the chin in. Have your palms facing the ceiling, away from the body, and gently close the eyes if you wish to. Let's give the body a few minutes here to relax completely. Start to relax and release the breath now. And just take a few minutes here to totally release and relax the body. Starting now to become aware of a quiet and still body. Allow your whole body to simply rest on the supporting floor. Allow your breath to start to slow down and relax. The whole body resting on the floor. Whole body releasing. Let's release our muscles. Let's relax the facial features, closing the eyes if you wish to, and just allowing the breath to breathe itself. No more effort required. No more effort required. Just allow the whole body to rest well. As you breathe in, take in fresh energy into your system. And as you breathe out, breathing out what's old and used up. So breathing in what's fresh and new. And breathing out what's old and used up. Just enjoy another 5 slow, even breaths here, yogis. in your own time. There is no rush. Okay, yogis, start to become aware once more of where you are and that our practice is coming to a close. Just firstly start to become aware of your body lying quiet and still on the floor. The sounds around you and the light behind your closed eyes. Just tuning into sounds and any other sensory impressions you may be noticing. Start to take the awareness down to your fingers and toes and just start to give them an affectionate little stretch and a wiggle into the fingers and into the toes. Open and close them, stretch them, become aware of them, fingers and toes. And then gently start to make some small little rotations with your wrists and ankles if you wish to, turning them one way and then gently turning them the other. Untie the knots and just notice physically how these areas now feel. And then when you're ready, start to begin to stretch the arms overhead, bring your legs together, flex your toes towards you and push your heels away, and take 1 or 2 deep breaths as you stretch into the whole body, stretching and lengthening and breathing into the whole body now, whole body. And as you stretch, just notice if that stretch just feels much easier to perform. Notice if that stretch feels easier to do. And when you're ready, just bring your arms back down to your sides and carefully, slowly open the eyes. Now give yourself a moment just to adjust back to the light, the room. Bend your knees, hug your knees in, yogis, and just rock again. Soften that low back. It's worked extremely hard for you today. That's it. Give yourself a little hug and then roll gently onto one side. Come up slowly. Perhaps you'd like to grab your cushion again so that you can sit comfortably, and together we'll close our practice. Well, that was a lovely session. Thank you for joining me in shedding the day's stress. The aim was to restore energy. So remember that often the magic and the transformation of yoga doesn't happen on the mat, but afterwards. So have a lovely evening and take care. Bye for now.